So when people don't know exactly what to do.
All right.
Get in, losers. We're recapping.
Everybody.
Shake your body. Straight back. All right. Oh, I can't put that there. You could see it.
Yeah, that's funny, actually. Oh,
It's funny.
I was saying, I was like, what? I thought I hit about 2 hours, but I'm not sure. But
Everybody.
actually, I thought about 4. Maybe I'm wrong.
Mm.
Yeah, we had that funness, and yeah, we had a little bit of session. Actually, we did do session 0 for. We had final session of Pirates and session 0 of
Das new game.
of the new game, which is Agents of the Empire. So, brand new campaign as our agents of the Carolian Empire. So, we're gonna have a lot of fun with that new thing as we eagerly await Vikings to come out. Agents of the what? Agents of the Empire. So, why don't you review some pirates and we'll get to some other things?
So they were still in their ship battle, and Grim decided to make the big old Kraken go away. And then we had to figure out if, since it was a summon beast or not, whether or not that would put Maya in the water or gone. And then we figured out, well, it was summoned, so Maya could be in the water. And then they were like, cool. So the Kraken's gone. Let's go beat the crap out of some hags. So everyone started rushing downstairs to beat the crap out of some hags. And they killed another one. And then there was a rumbling in the ocean. Oh, no. First, the dickwad Trump, as I'm calling him, decided to get rid of another island. So there's a rumbling in the ocean afterwards because Dickwad Trump obviously does not read lore or understand lore. And basically he released the giant dragon turtle that lived under the island.
This is a cosmic turtle.
Cosmic dragon turtle. And so then they were like, this is not good. Is this good? And then they're like, wait, the dragon turtle's just going to want the singularity destroyed just like we do. And then the dragon turtle was like, paused time basically and was all like, if you help me destroy this, I will give you a gift. And they were like, cool, that was our plan anyways, dude, so if you want to help, let's go. He wasn't a bad guy, he was a good guy. Sorry. Well, he could have been a bad guy, but they decided to like play it good. And so then they were like, cool, yeah, help us. And so then they all grew really, really big and were like bigger than the ships. So then they just decided to beat the crap out of ships and toss ships and split ships in half long ways, not like short ways. And then they fed the dragon turtle both the singularity and Little Dick,
True.
as he will forever be known. And I was totally going to remake that mini, but then I figured they weren't ever going to really fight that mini. I figured they were just going to throw it and kill it. And I was right, because I was totally going to make a little Trump mini, but I didn't. Anyways, so they won, and Plant King lived, and Plant King has a whole fleet, and he's coming for his daughter's wedding. And God damn it, if Charleston didn't survive, that son of a bitch. But everyone kind of got their weird lit. Not really. No one really got a happy ending. They all got like the next steps because, like, for none of them is it an ending kind of thing, which was cool. And then, yeah, that was that. That was the end, guys. Good job.
Yeah. From there, we moved on to deciding that our next campaign was Agents of the Empire. So we went through and began selecting character options, classes, looking through some customized subclasses for that as well. And
I saw some people already sent me minis.
Yeah, they're ready. They're ready to go. They made a lot of decisions in that meeting that they did what to
So is
Discord.
there going to be session 1 next week? Because that depends on whether or not I print these minis. And right now the printer's being a douchebag.
It's definitely session 1
okay,
next week. Yeah, definitely going session 1. And we're gonna there's an option to start at level 3 or 1 is what we were talking about. We decided to do 1 so that we could get really used to the empire structure.
Okay.
And how all the things work within the empire and really get the political and where all the motivations are. So,
and you said this is the one that doesn't have a book, so you're going to have to send me this stuff so I can make things, correct?
It does.
Oh.
Yeah, we've got stuff for it all. It was Dark Academia that wasn't going to, and we decided...
see, that's where I got myself confused.
And basically what the general thing was, like, this is going to be fun, and everyone's going to like playing the game. No one's going to fall in love with the game, they think. They were afraid they would fall in love with Dark Academia and not want to go to Vikings.
I see.
And that the Dark Academia didn't really have a very strong end point. It was going to be like, who knows what we're going to do? Because it was going to be a lot more freestyle. Because it was, pure, whatever. So they're like, we don't want freestyle. We don't want to be able to do whatever we want to do. Like, we want a more contained game. So that even if we do decide to continue with it, we know there's a point where it will end. And it's a set point it will end, and we will get to play our Vikings.
This is the last in the Fables line, isn't it?
Yeah, this will be the last in the Fables. We'll see. Oh man. Oh, but yeah. So we so yeah. That's everything with that, and we actually are grabbing quite a few from the playtest out that was sent out for Pirates of the Expanse. A few people grabbing stuff from that. I think grabbing a few Dungeons and Dragonheim subclasses. I hope someone's the Techno Mage because I really like the Techno Mage subclass. I think it's a lot of fun.
Well, if you like it so much, why don't you marry it?
Yeah, but yeah, like that's and that is that. So yeah, we'll see that coming up, and we've got a Odyssey of the Dragon Lords.
What?
Starting Odyssey of the Dragon Lords.
What is that?
That is the new campaign they've selected for Friday night.
Oh, okay, that's that one. Okay, I know what that one is. Thank you. I don't think I knew the name of it.
Yes.
Badass name.
Yeah, that is based off of Greek mythology. So
I'm gonna have so much fun with that.
Yeah, so we're gonna be pulling a lot of that out of there. There's gonna be Minotaurs and all I hope they call it Gorgons because it'll be great. But then again, then we might not know what to call the Steel Bull. But I get why we have to in D&D call it Medusas. I get it. I just hate it. But we're gonna have all of that. And so yeah, it's epic campaign. We're gonna be playing with epic hero paths, which you get these the idea that is like you're destined for greatness. So as you move along your story path, you are getting higher power, extremely it's like heroic fantasy times 11. It's really fun. So it's uber heroic fantasy, and it is full because it was a full campaign. The full campaign's moving to another one. So let's just go to what it is. And yeah, that is going to be great. I'm excited for that one. I think that we're going to zero this week.
Yeah, I have that.
And then it'll be session 1.
Oh my gosh, we're going to have so many starting next week.
I know, because then of course
we'll have the Sunday night new one coming. We'll have Thursday, and then we're going to have Fridays.
Yeah. Yeah, we only have 1 0 coming up. So
I'm tired just looking at the schedule.
Yeah. We do have to zero that one just because it's, we want to get the heroic party together and all that. And of course, I might go through that. And then, of course, we're going to The third one, Thursday, is of course officially starting.
I'm sorry, it's Thursday.
Thursday will have its first session
Thank you.
coming up. Not this week, but next week. And
This
then,
week it's Thanksgiving, so everyone
ooh,
put on your 15 pounds.
yeah, right. So we're doing the first day, and that will, we'll get to see all of that in our little world. You see what that's like. It's going to be fun using Gestalt rules and all that good stuff. And then, yeah, I think Sunday night we got to still figure. We can still try out the Blades in the Dark. There's a few other systems we might want to move and see what we want to do there. Gather interest and see where we can get a good campaign going. If there is enough interest for a campaign on Sunday, I think that seems to be a little volatile for everyone's schedules. So we just really got to see what we want to do and push out with that. See what's up. But we did play tonight Candela Obscura, which is interesting because I love playing the game. When I played it and I've GM'd it and GM'd it for players. So it's very interesting to me because it's kind of how I feel about a lot of these Blades in the Dark-esque systems. And even really a lot of the PBTA systems, which is a lot of it is how much you're going to be into the fiction. I think that to me that drives how much people really like the game. So, like, if you're going to get into Candela Obscura, the world of Candela Obscura, it's eliminated word simply, which is like you're going to go and you're going to understand who the EOS is. You're going to read this setting, and you're going to love the setting. And you're going to go, I know the setting, I understand it, and I'm going to get into it. Then I think you're going to really, really like it. Same thing with Girl by Moonlight, which was basically like if you understood the genre, you pretty much were going to like it. Then if you help make the setting, you're going to love it more. That's how I kind of feel about Candela Obscura. It is definitely a horror thing, and it has some great problem solving, detective work, all the really good stuff of that genre. But I think that you understand the genre, but you basically still committed to it. So because there's enough things that go along with it, which is why it kind of works with it. I feel like, but the point is like you can really get into it if you can accept it, and so I think that's sort of where those things come in, because with those systems, the biggest thing is, and here's where it like really got to me with the genres, or I guess like because you take because we had a discussion in our after time of Candela Obscura versus Old Gods of Appalachia, because both are like super similar in their mythos. Very, very tight. And I think one was, and it really to me came down to like how committed were you going to be to learn the setting? And Old Gods, if you understand 1920s, you basically understand Old Gods.
It's true.
And in other words, we're seeped within the culture.
Yeah.
So it's very easy to understand how the things around Old Gods work, and maybe there's one or two little things we might change. Especially if you grew up like pre like the information revolution that we've gone through. You definitely get it, and those who have some do too. You grew up with these folk stories.
In other words, if Alex makes you feel old,
yeah, but even younger people like Molly grew up with the stories, and Josh did, and so there's a lot of people who can come in and love that setting, just really love the setting, and that's like the one thing. And same thing with kind of Candela, you can really get into this alternate 1920s. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I do like his country voice. I'll admit it. It's very cute. Okay, it's hot. Whatever. He's my husband. It's hot.
But I like the both Candela. One thing that's interesting is that you really have to sort of read and understand how Candela works to kind of get into its setting. Otherwise, it kind of feels like it's 1920s, but we can't use any American references. We can't know history, which is sort of hard. It's like, here's a culture, we can't make historical references. Here's this. And so that's sort of weird. I think, to totally understand. So I think that's the one thing as far as RP wise.
Mm.
So you have to like, like I watch the podcast, so like I know how the world works. I know who all the organizations are, so I can get into it really easily. But I would say that's what you kind of have to do. Um, yeah, I agree. I think that disconnect from the world, that is where, like, if I was to run a campaign in it, I get that was like that feedback was really interesting. It was we'd really need to spend some time in the world. We'd really need to maybe do some things that help us understand how all the little pieces go together. Old fair, new fair being built on it, the war that just occurred, why that war was fought, the forces behind it. So it's very much a setting, which is designed to be. But it's a big setting that really, I think, takes some time to really understand.
Yeah.
And I think that whereas it doesn't take that much to understand old gods, you kind of say it's Appalachia with old gods buried in the Appalachian Mountains. Got it.
Boom.
For the
Done
most
and
part, like
done.
most people get it. Maybe not people everywhere, but a lot of people, especially on this area, get it and understand it. So I think that's my thing about the setting, and then the system. To me, when it comes to all these systems that basically aren't D&D, um, it really is about how different personalities can disconnect from playing D&D.
Mm.
Like that's really their job. Is to get you to not play D&D while playing their system.
Right.
And how well they transition you from A to B in that. Because that's how I hear mostly whenever we play all these, and we've tried these different systems. That's like the biggest thing they go, like the people who like it tend to be the ones that who felt like they made the jump easier, and then those who didn't. And so, like people who play Cypher, Old Gods, and just feel like I can't disconnect from D&D enough. It has too many similarities for me
Right.
to disconnect. Like I think one thing was brought up about looking at this list of skills and going from there when the list of skills is just meant to go, here's just things that are a little easier for you to do. Right? That's all those skills are really meant to do. And ideally you just do whatever you want, and occasionally skills will back you up and help you do it a little easier. It's meant to be so much more wide open than it is. It's just how well you can disconnect from D&D, where you tend to do the things you're only good at. Right? It's how well you can do that. And I think
That's not true. Everyone tries to make me do charisma, and it's always my dump stat.
Right. However, then you go to something like this, where I would say it's probably a little like a Candela Obscura. It's a little easier because of the drive system and the way they did it to like understand, oh, like if I do this, I have disadvantage on the dice roll. That's the worst roll I can possibly get. And then if I put a drive in that, however, and if I make sure I have drive in all my categories, I can always at least try to do it. And I can be reasonable at it. And I can try to get it, So I feel like system wise, it's a lot simpler that way. So it really just depends, like how many degrees away from D&D do you have to get till you stop playing D&D?
That makes sense.
That's how I kind of feel, because people who can make the disconnect quick can love the Cypher and Numenera system, which is interesting though, because then there's a one shot made by Monty Cook called The Crawling for the game Numenera, but it's the Cypher system, so it plays the same as Old Gods. That is designed specifically to take somebody from D&D to Cypher.
Oh, that's cool.
Like that's what it's designed to do. It's designed to help you transition so you get a Cypher mindset.
Why haven't we done that one?
I think we just haven't had the interest or anything. People have been asking for these other games. No one's asking me to help them make a transition.
Okay, to be fair, you know a lot more about all the bloody games out there, you and Jonathan, I should say, and Creed, but a lot of us don't know them.
Yeah, but again, are people going to sign up and want to learn and play that? I think that's the big question. If people are interested in that, then we would do it. If not, we can't really do it. Because so far with these, one thing I've done, if anyone's noticed, is I privately listed them. I haven't been giving them out to people. And that really came from a certain Monster of the Week game we played that we just all looked back, and there was another thing we did where we're like, man, that was hard. And it was hard to bring people into it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think like ones, unless, things like this where we're just going to sort of go ahead and learn, and we're not going to put a lot of, I guess it depends on how much time I have. So if I have enough time to let me say it this way, I'm sorry. To run a one shot with new people is basically the same amount of work as starting a campaign.
That's true.
And that's really what it is do I have a whole campaign's worth of work ready to put in, and it's just a one shot? Because that's what it takes to onboard people, to get them ready to one shot with us. And then a lot of times they just sign up an hour beforehand. And it's like,
and you want to kill them all.
And it's so hard because then we've got our people who know how to play and know how the community works, and these other ones.
And then you have people who sign up a week ahead of time and then go, wait, you stream this 5 minutes before you're about to stream, after you said you stream like about 500 times.
Yeah. But yeah, I think so. That's been the hardest thing we've had with the one shots, I think. But that's why I'm
annoyed with that one.
So in other words, that's why I've been doing the community shots, community games. So that means it's harder in a way to get players because we need them all from the community. Now for a campaign, obviously it's fine because it's going to be the work of a campaign, and we're going to benefit from it for several weeks, so, or if not a year or two. So it's a really good thing to put the energy into. It's just so hard for a one shot, unless it's I think a super simple thing that we're doing. But it's funny though, because then again, I mean, we had as an amazing player, I think it was I can't remember her name, but she came with the Halloween one. Or the haunted house one, which I really enjoyed. I think just the time slots didn't work out for her to play every week. But yeah. So we did talk of how it would be probably everybody who played Candela pretty much agreed that a 3 to 4 spot of it would be a lot of fun.
Right.
Like if I said, hey, we're gonna run 3 weeks in a row or 4 weeks, we're gonna get into it and we're going to tell a story or do a few assignments, and it's going to move a group of characters from A to B or whatever, that people are like, sweet, yeah, I'm in, I'll play that game. So that, because there wasn't necessarily I hate this game or anything like that. The other thing that we felt real hard was a lack of customization.
Yeah.
Which
you play with pre-mades, right?
It's not pre-mades. We made it, but it's not a very customizable system.
Oh, okay.
It's meant.
Why do I think you were playing with pre-mades?
Because I might have been doing that before I got the book. I don't know.
Okay.
But yeah, I think that is sort of the hard part of it. Is again how much. So for some people that is freeing.
Nope, I don't like it.
Yeah, for some people that's very freeing.
I want to play my own brand of dumbass.
Yeah, but for some people that's freeing because that's what enables them to not play D&D. Right? That's what enables them to just go with it because it's boxed enough. So that's a really good thing for other people. As for somebody else, like I said, because Penny Press was so awesome, she seemed like a published character. Where it was so what do you mean by that? Is that good or bad? I'm not sure what you're.
No, that it was well defined, and I think she meant it was well defined. I always want my characters to have some bit of dumbassery, and so if you're not allowed to customize a lot, I'm not really into it.
Well, there's a lot of options, but it's not highly customizable.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Oh, she didn't watch it. So
oh no, I've been sick as a dog all day.
Yeah, no.
I pretty much finished the battle with pirates and went to bed, and I've been to bed all day.
Yeah, you have a lot of choices. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of things because you get your abilities. But I get it where ultimately, yeah, it's not the, and it's funny because. Some people compared it oh, I wish I had more things like Monster of the Week. When a lot of the stuff for Monster of the Week, that we think of isn't official content. It's all fan-made content.
Yeah.
So really what we're talking about is one of the criticisms comes down to it's a brand new game.
Yeah.
So that's part of it too, because even like
Yeah.
one of the big complaints of D&D when it first came out was, oh, it's not enough customization. So because of the limited subclasses. So it's so hard when a game literally came out in the last 4 days to go not enough content when most of that is so. That's an interesting.
Correct me if I'm wrong though, but like even Critical Role only did it for a few sessions, right?
Yeah, even they do I think for 3.
Yeah, that makes sense then.
So yeah, so I think that like that's just one thing that either comes with age or comes with more people making more homebrew content. The thing is, I don't know if there's any type of OGL for Candela Obscura or Illuminated Worlds. Like, so I don't know if there's any way someone could make third-party content and what that would look like. I mean, I don't know what they've released on it because that's a big thing. Like, because Months of the Week has had like a lot of room for that,
right?
And they've left it open. So the games that leave it open, you have a lot more content. So I think that's always sort of the thing what they're going to do and how they're going to add to that. And so for me, that would kind of be like, and that's the other thing though. If you're going to play a campaign, maybe not 3 weeks, but if you're going to do a 12-week or even longer than that, I think that there's more you could potentially discover. But the other thing with it is Candela Obscura, to me, never would be meant to be played long term. Like the system itself is anti that. Like your character starts dying from the moment you play them.
That's true.
And you're going to see them retired. Like you're going to see them go off this because there's not enough health recovery present in the game to let them live. So
I tried to die, but he wouldn't let me.
He didn't almost die. He almost got a scar.
Oh, that's right. I tried my damnedest.
But yeah, with Triple J, it's because you get 3 marks and then you get a scar, and then your marks reset. It's when you get 3 scars, so ultimately you fill your bar 3 times.
Yeah, he said he'd never had anyone get one, and I was like, challenge accepted.
Yeah, the one game we tried to get a scar. It was really funny.
I was close. I was 1 mark away.
Yeah.
So mad.
But yeah, so that's sort of the so that's what I say is that basically probably 3 to 4 sessions, like you're going to have several scars, you're going to be there. So they're meant to be more short-lived characters, which is why I think maybe they spent more time in world building in the book than they did character customization in the game.
That's probably true.
So I think that's why it's that way. So again, it's a very particular game. Now, what's funny is Old Gods has a mode to play like that. They call it I forget what they call it from my head. Oh, maybe Wakes mode, I think might be what it's called. But it's basically every time you interact with the supernatural, instead of GM intrusions being on 1, they go up to 2. Like if you do that in a session, and then it can only go up one notch per session. But every session where that happens, it goes up. So, like, if you're in your 7th session, you could have 5. You could have GM intrusions at 5 or 6.
Let me just say this: Charlie and Ruby be fucked.
And you play that in order to have this downward spiral of a horror narrative.
Yeah.
Right. You go and there's like even it actually reminds me if on the podcast you do some of the Patreon content, like there's this part of it called Badmouth Dog that in particular feels that way, as well as Bill and Mama Coffin, those 2 arcs in the podcast of Gods of Appalachia that feel like you're playing on Wakes mode, and how they're designed. So that's sort of that feel of horror that you go for, and I think that's that feel of horror that she can't review the story of Candela Obscura, but yeah,
I slept.
Yeah, I was listening to the idea of the game, so that's my idea of the mechanics. The story itself I thought was really fun. The decisions were cool. It was pretty bare bones, and we played the story. but I think the characters were figuring it out. Um, and yeah, I think this is a mystery. We were trying to figure out why people were rising from the dead, and it had to do with a camera.
Stealing your souls, man.
Yeah. So yeah, Ultima is a camera that animated bodies, and then those bodies would go around stealing souls to further live. So it kind of put that thing to something else.
See, the Native Americans were right. The camera will steal your soul.
Yeah, that was basically what it was built off of. Yeah, that was part of the rush. Like I was trying to push there occasionally, but I realized that we'd never do it in time. But yeah, the creepy moment though, like I think there's a lot of like, so what you would have enjoyed was we did it from a post-mortem photographer. So that's how it came in, because it opened up with him setting up someone to be.
You mean like the crazy scary pictures that they used to do all the time?
Yeah,
with the dead. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, so that's what it started with, a guy doing that to his wife.
Bad choice, man. Bad choice.
Yeah, and then this crazy camera does, and has this start to come out.
That's cool.
Yeah, and that's one of those things I think would have been fun in a campaign. Razzles, because he says creepy, kept on trying to make him creepy, convinced he was. I would have probably lent into that. It was just one of those things where I'm like, if I lean into this, can I get us out of it in 2 hours? So I think that was sort of my thing. So I think it's fun. I think the story there's a lot of pieces that would have been a lot more fun. But that's what I want to just give you a taste of the system, and give you like, can I play this? You know, that type of thing.
Right.
So, but yeah, and I think the thing is, when the things rose from the dead, the thing that was like really fun is we made them, and they moved. It was like they were in still motion. Like you took a bunch of photos of them.
Oh no, I don't.
The corpses were like like that, and that was like how they moved, because they were brought back by camera flashes, right? So I just loved that piece of it, and that's what I think, that those story. And to me, this actually was like the difference between it and Old Gods, because Old Gods is a little bit more like the ancient powers are around, and they're still ancient. And yeah, they have some modern ways they come up, but nothing like that. Whereas this is very much like this perversion of life, and how this stuff has mixed with technology, and the horrors that causes because of the mixture of the two worlds,
right?
Of industrialization plus arcane, and how those just create an awful thing. And those, so the horrors are more unique. Not even more unique, they're just different than others, but they have that creepy thing a little bit more. I think so. Just again, not that one's better or not, in my opinion, as far as the fiction. The fiction's strong in both. But yeah,
it's just, how do you like your creepy?
Yeah, and what's funny is I think the fiction of Old Gods, what has going for it, honestly, is you can listen to it in the podcast.
Yeah.
And it's pretty hard to do with Candela Obscura, because like it's not a storytelling format. Like it's a very long game that gives you only so much lore.
Right.
But yeah, I think I think it's funny, because in Old Gods they say this is alternate Appalachia, so you can tone down slavery or racism, whatever you want. You can just change a little bit to suit your group. Whereas Candela, in creating its whole new world, basically like deletes like, hey, we have World War I/World War II type of stuff, but we didn't have anti-Semitism in it, and we didn't have this, and we didn't have this, and we didn't have this. So they're able to make this different world that doesn't have to deal with anything problematic.
Must be nice.
So I think that's why they like that, and then why they created the world that way.
Yeah.
Still have those classist issues. It was what I think they really like to play on, the powerful playing on the weak, and those types of things. So it's all, that type of stuff. But that's the review, story review plus I think game. But I know you like playing Candela.
I did like Candela.
Yeah.
But I might be biased because I got to play with you.
True. So, give me this then, because you played both games. If you like, give me your, because they're both horror, and like I said, they're that both like 1920s horror. That very like specific.
You know, I'm going to go Old Gods for one very particular reason.
Okay.
Not that because you have a sexy voice. That helps, but that's not the reason.
Okay.
Because I'm the person who watches a horror movie and stops mid-movie and goes, well, that's not realistic. That's not how your eyeball would pop out.
Okay.
So the fact that, oh God, you can relate it to actual history makes it creepier for me.
Because the world, the fiction they've built in. Yeah. So when I look at the book and I take the fiction out of it, it is basically the history that we know and is true.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
That is more creepy to me.
So that brings that horror out to you more than a purely fiction on top of fiction on top of fiction. Okay.
I mean, I like that, but it never really scares me because my brain goes, yeah, giant worms aren't real, you know? Whereas if you're like, this thing is like a dead ghost from like the Civil War, I'm like, that's possible. I mean, I believe that would happen before I believe a giant worm would come out and eat me.
Well, it's true, because I would say the Candela world, from what I've read, is the monstrosities and things are very much based off of arcane and technology.
Right.
Which is more of these monsters roar type of things. And which is fine. But Old Gods is very human.
Yes.
It's very much human greed, human crime, human sin, I guess, essentially, awfulness, and all those types of things that tend to make.
Yeah, it's all man-made.
Yeah, it's basically we created our own problems.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. Yeah.
And I'm not a nihilist or anything, but we do create all our goddamn own problems.
Yeah. Very interesting. All right. Well, with that, I think we did a review. So that's our basic idea how we thought of this stuff. Again, fun system. I think it's very, very fun. We're reviewing a lot of times in context. So we have so many games going. And because we have so many games we can run, people kind of go, well, if we're going to run something like this, I would rather kind of be like this. That's the type of discussions we have in the Jam Balo community. So that's why we even talk that way. Because really, you could run Home Gods, and you could do Candela, and you could do all these different games.
And that's fine. And it's like the conversation we had with Drakenheim. It's what do you like?
Yeah.
Because the point is, you're supposed to have fun. It's a game. If it's not fun, there's a problem.
Yeah. But I mean, like at a family vacation where you convince everyone to play a game, like Candela.
I will never do that again with you. I learned my mistake. I played with your dad. I don't ever want to.
Oh, I mean, like an RP game though, like where you played hey, we're gonna play 3 nights or whatever. Like it's really a lot of fun. So
that would be a lot more fun than playing anything like win-lose with your dad. Oh my god.
True. But
not understand concept of the word game.
True. Thanks for people hanging out in the chat, talking to us. Thank you for watching the review tonight, and a lot of you catch it the next day. So those of you who are watching now after it's already been live, thank you. Discord stuff, if you want, Discord us questions for the review or comments on some of the stuff we said or whatever. We'd love to, like, in different reviews, address them and all that type of stuff. But with that, we're going to say goodnight, and we are ready for the day of games. That is Monday. We'll see you then, folks.
Bye, y'all.